Hi, my name is Simphiwe Dludlu, and you are watching Grit Sports TV. Simphiwe Dludlu, wow. Shorty is the first one. But I'm a child from Alex, born and bred there. So clever as Alex, if I may put it that way. But yeah, that's where I was born, and I grew up in the busy streets. Back then it used to be dusty streets, but now it became the busy streets of Alex, where everything and everybody we get to do together and experience together. I was very naughty growing up. If I was sent to the shop, I'll do a short left to play either skipping, hopscotch, or inget, or I was that kind of child because I was just that enthusiastic and active. But yeah, I was always a respectful child, still am, and anything that has to do with fun, you would find me. And Betwana and Paya, either I'm mediating or because growing up with boys, you get to learn so much, experience so much, learn how to fight, learn how to protect yourself, learn how to be street smart, so basically that is a Simphiwe. I come from a family of four. I have two younger sisters and a younger brother, and with a single mom. But I was raised by my grandmother, Mina, specifically because so it was like the last born, Kumakulu. So yeah, that's how I was raised. But I've always had a close relationship with my mom. And over the years, then I started living with her when I got to high school. But I was raised by my grandmother, and my siblings have always been my rock as well. They look up to me. I also take a lot from them, and yeah, they keep me in my youth a lot. And yeah, basically that's and I could say the reason I say that is because they never treat me different. Yes, they always respect me as an older sister, but they have that counting on me effect. And not just that, but they always appreciate who I am, the crazy person that I am, the strict person that I can be as an older sister. And they always remind me to stay on the ground, not by saying much, but by being themselves around me. That always reminds me that I have a family that loves me. I have a family that sees me as me, naked in a sense that would stripped everything off me, they still the same. With everything that I've worn or adorned or anything, they've always been the same to me. Well, coming from Ekasi, first thing, you can be the best bowler, you can be the best swimmer, cricketer, whatever, athlete. You must know how to play soccer. It is impossible that you can come out of the township and you don't know how to play soccer, So that was one of the things, and I fell in love with it. At 8 already, I was playing with my cousin brothers, my friends that were boys, and in the streets. But I was not limited to any other sports, because there was running. Even on the streets, we do athletics. You are competing against each other. You are playing, we call it Scop the ball. And I know in indigenous games, those games are there, and they are done up to national levels, and I did all of that. I played netball well in primary school when I was still the same height as my peers, until they started growing taller than me. Then I was like, grand, but yeah, I played netball, I did athletics, I played football, I even did drama at school, which was part of my love, and I think I'm dramatic every day. But yeah, I did get an opportunity to do different sporting codes. In high school, I ended up have to choose between drama and football. Athletics I was not too crazy about, but whenever inter-housing at schools, or if you're the best runner, I was very fast. So at school they would let me go and run in provincials and all of that, but I never got to win because as you grow, with the sport, you see, this is not really for me. I'm just fast naturally, but I don't think I want to take it up as a profession, but there was a teacher that coached me at school, because I did play with the boys as well at school. So he was like, you're really good at this. See if you can go further with it, and I continued playing with the boys, and then I found girls teams, and then I could really see, then I started knowing about Banyana Banyana, then I realized actually I can get to that level and make it a career and understand more about it. And because I remember I wrote a letter to my uncle who was in a prison back then, and I said to him, I want to be that first one to have a surname written on the back of my shirt, and it did happen. So at that age already in high school, I was dreaming about it, I was seeing it, and I started working hard at it, to become better. And because I'm very competitive, and playing with the boys gave me that nudge, to say keep going, keep fighting, and be the best of you from that early age. As a woman, I think growing up in Lokshin, you always have challenges, where you don't get enough support, or you get ridiculed or mocked for being a girl playing with the boys, or you're never going to amount to anything. Even family that didn't understand me as a girl playing football, where you are discriminated so much, where you look like a boy, you do this, and all of those things are things that can hurt you. And apart from that, when you don't see light at the end of the tunnel any closer to you, those are the things that have always made me doubt if I can really make it. And I think there was a point where I was in the Banyana team and I didn't feel wanted in the team. I was made not to feel good enough. I was made to feel I did not belong there. It almost broke me, but I think that changed my life drastically, because from then on I told myself, nobody's gonna tell me I'm not good enough unless they're gonna come and say you can be better by doing 1, 2, 3. I'll listen to you, and there's always those challenges. And I think that was in 2006, because that was the same year I broke into Banyana. And obviously then there were still those older players, senior players that have been in the Banyana team. So they would make you feel, Guti, you're unwanted here, or you're not good enough for them. Maybe I was a threat then, or I wasn't good enough for them in their eyes at that age. I don't know. But I think all of that was what built me to be a strong character that I am today, or on top of who I was, because I realized there and then that I'm unique. There's only one me. And it's either I take what they say, run with it and break and not amount to anything, or I'm going to take it and use it as motivation. And even to date, I still use any challenge that says I'm not good enough as a motivation to say I'll prove myself right. Not you. It's not about you. It's about me. So a lot of challenges I faced. Sometimes I did not have soccer boots to play with. That's a challenge for a girl that plays soccer and you want to be at a certain stage. I would steal my brother's checkies at home, or I'd even kick a ball with my school shoes. My school shoes used to have holes underneath, because as long as I could get on that field and play, I'd steal his shorts, and then when I get home I must sneak them in, and those are the stories that have kept me going. And to date I still remind my mom and I say, remember you once gave me a hiding for stealing my brother's shorts, and that's what has made me to appreciate every little lesson that I got along the way. I think I was playing in Tembisa for a club, the Pumlong Ladies, and I was in grade 9, I think. I was playing there, and then I had a friend who was playing in Alexandra, and she said to me, there's a boys team that I like going to train with and play with. Maybe you should come along, and that was in Rao. So I said, okay. I went, and there was a girls team there. Obviously it was university girls that were there, older girls, and I think I was one of the youngest that was there. Actually, I got my nickname Shorty from that team and those teammates that I played with. And from there was a coach called Tony DeVivo, and he was the head coach of the boys team there. And there and there, he saw that I had the potential, And we also had a coach, his name is Amelka. He's actually in coaching education right now in Safa. And I was coached by them, and then they gave me an opportunity to go to the High Performance Center in Pretoria. I was in grade, actually, I'm mistaken. I played for Rao, then grade 10, grade 11. And when I was in grade 12, they actually took me to the High Performance Center. Yes, I was still in high school. So they took me to the High Performance Center. I joined in round about March, so a bit later than the girls that were there, because it was a new academy that was going to be established for the national team. So 25 girls there. I was the 25th girl that made it into the team. And there my life changed completely, because my mom never had to pay a cent for me to go to school uniform, soccer equipment and all of that, and that was life-changing for me. So I could say that having to get an opportunity to play at Rao gave me the platform, gave me the opportunity and made a dream come true for me. I was first year at varsity, actually, 2006 at Tux. So I got a call from our coach from the academy, because I was at the academy for 2 years, 2004 and 5, and 2006 I went to varsity. So I was on my way to class and she called me. Shorty, how are you doing? I'm a good coach. Pack your soccer boots and everything. You are going into camp with Banyana. I was like, hold on, coach. And she said, yes. Her name is Cheryl Bolters. And I was like, Coach, no, I did not hear it. And she's like, you are going to Banyana Banyana. You've been called up. I did not even make my way to class. U-turned. I sprinted home, packed. But I didn't even know what was needed. But I knew I just needed to have my soccer boots and my shin pads. That's all I needed. Toiletries and everything. If I needed whatever, it's okay. As long as I get to that place. They fetched me, and that was a turning point for me, because when I was at the academy, mostly we had players that were playing for under 20 and Banyana Banyana, but most of us would be left behind and not representing the national team, So our mentor would make sure we are not feeling left out. We'd go watch them play, and we'd go on excursions just to close that gap, to say, you are not making it now, but with time you'll get there. And I think it was significant for me because I made Banyana Banyana before the under 20. And for me, that was really heartwarming, to say, wow, actually the senior team is recognizing me first before the junior team could, and it means I have an opportunity to go out there and roll shoulders with the big guns. Portia Mdisa and then Veronica Peol were still in the team, and that was really a turning point for me. And yeah, I can still feel how I felt on that day, and yeah, that was it. And I think also the same year, people broke into the house where we lived in, and they stole my soccer boots and all of that. So I did not have soccer boots. So a teammate of mine from a club that I played for then, Mamelodi Sundowns, whilst they were still in Pretoria, donated soccer boots to me. And I remember when I was in tears because I couldn't find my soccer boots, and I said, probably this is something for bigger things that will come. Everything happens for a reason. Little did I know. And that's exactly what happened. When you get in there, you could feel I'm a junior coming into the team, and I think that is what shaped me, because I always aspired to be better and bigger in the team, but I did not skip steps. I came into the team, and like I said, you could feel that I'm a junior, I'm new coming into the team. Things are done in a certain way. You are late, you get to polish the senior soccer boots and all of that. And I made sure I was on the right side of things in the team. And once they punished me, I was so angry. I polished even on the white stripes. They punished me again because they knew this one is gonna mess up our soccer boots, But coming into the team and getting so much experience from them, like I say, Abo Veronica Pewa, she's still one of the best left-footed players I've ever seen in the world, not just in South Africa. And that is Veronica Pewa. She could hit from any angle, any direction, a cracker, And Portia, her precision to things, how she wanted things done in a certain way. She's a hard worker, she's very skillful. Nothing for her is not doable. Everything is possible for her. And I took her arrogance to the game, and I looked at her and I say, when is she arrogant? Well, she's arrogant any day because she knows who she is, and she's a brilliant player. And I sucked that from her to say, okay, she always works hard, she knows who she is. Nobody can tell her anything about her talent, and I got that from her. If you look at Abo Portia Mtokwane and all of that, Portia Mtokwane, actually, she wore jersey number 3. When I went and trialed in that team, I said, this lady, I admire her so much, but her days are numbered in the team because I'm coming for that jersey, I'm coming for that position. And she was playing right back then, I think left back then. And yeah, Abumpumiande anyway in the team, and she's my age, and when I got into the team, she had so much experience and she wanted to share. She always had the fun side of her, but always working hard and showing her talent. And over the years we've grown, and yeah, that time when I made it into Banyana was the best time, because that is the same time that it was make or break. In that team, was I good enough? Was I not good enough? Mentally, they built me because I had to fight for every second to be part of that team. Actually, when I made my debut against Nigeria, my debut for Banyana, we were playing in Mozambique. That was the first time I played. But when we played Nigeria for the first time, because Nigeria was always seen as this country, because they always beat us, they're strong, big, and all of that. And I was the smallest, tiniest in the team, and I remember we were playing All Africa games in 2007, if I'm not mistaken, in Algeria. And first game, we were playing them. The score, I think, ended at 2-2 or 3-3, I can't remember, but it was a draw. So Janine van Wyk got injured, and I was just sitting on the bench because I wasn't thinking I was going to get on the field. Usually it's the attacking players that are getting more opportunity to come on the field and play. So I was still chatting to my friends, we were chatting, watching the game and all of that, didn't have shin pads on, and and the coach just looked and said, Shodi, get ready. And she said, get ready. Put on my shin pads, I tied my soccer boots, didn't even warm up. Went onto the field. I played the best game of my life. They were known to be the fastest, strongest, and all of that. I went on that field and I competed for everything. I could jump higher than them. I always say, if God wore a size 5, he wore my soccer boots on that day. Because I don't think it was me playing on that day. And that day will always be memorable for me because we were playing against the toughest in Africa, the ones that are feared anyway, And getting onto that field and playing to a draw against that team and getting off the field and everybody said, Shorty, you did your best, well done. And because then I was still doubting myself a bit to say, do I belong in the team? Will I ever get a chance to play, to be a regular in the team? And I played in that match. I left everything on that field, and yeah, that will always be a memorable match for me. Right now, we are a step in the right direction. And I'm saying this mostly because a girl child like me got an opportunity in 2006 to play. And right now, the girls I'm coaching, some of them are 14, and they are good at playing football. Yes, there's still a long way for them to go to learn and become better and better. But the quality that we have in the team at this age is out of this world. So that means we are a step in the right direction. That does not discount that we have a long way to go, because it shouldn't just be players that we'll only find in the national team that are as good as these ones are. But we have to roll out our sleeves, not just the federation, but everyone that is involved in sport, in women's football, in South Africa has an obligation to say, we want to make sure the development, the grassroots of it, there's proper structures that are put in place and access to resources, because mostly a girl child is told, I'll buy you school shoes instead of soccer boots. Her brother will be bought soccer boots, techies, and shoes to go to church, So that mindset needs to change. Dad will take the boy child to a soccer match, but not the girl child. And funny, with me growing up, I was better than my brother playing football. And Dad never came to see me play. My mom has always been there. But as South Africans, we need to support these young girls that are playing, not just the young girls, but any girl child that is playing football in South Africa, because the support is what motivates us. Support is you getting up in the morning and saying, I'll go watch your game. Support is you saying, how much do you need to catch that taxi to go to training? Support is you saying, can I come to your team and just buy you 18 pack of Powerade? Support is you just being able to say, can I just donate 100 rands to your team towards your transport going to a soccer match? It does not mean support, it must be millions. Yes, we want to get to that, but it starts from down there. Support is us being featured on daily programs, on TV, on radio, everywhere, platforms that are put out there. Not only when you are doing good that you are captured and put out there, but when you start, when you are still struggling, when your journey is captured from down there, is what we need as women in football and women in sport, because you can create those opportunities. Do we have access to them regularly? Are our programs consistent? Are they properly structured? That's what we need, because we don't just want something to just been ticked on a box to say there is programs that are happening, but there isn't clear indication as to what is happening. There are no evident investments into it, so there's a lot that still needs to be done. Corporate South Africa should be coming in and say, here's multi-million rand sponsorship to the women's game, because the coaches that are there, they need to be paid. Passion doesn't pay the bills. That teacher that takes their time to say, I will be a teacher and be a coach, something needs to be done there for them. For that coach that says, I'm doing it freely because I have the passion for it, they need to be rewarded for it, because it's their passion. They sacrifice so much from their own personal capacity to feed into what the nation will be proud of today. So we are in need of more support in everything that I've mentioned, because we have the potential to be counted amongst the rest of the world even better. We have so much talent. We have the passion. I always say, if girls were given even more resources, I'm sure we'd overtake the guys. If you could put everything on par and say, here you go. Maybe I'm for women. I am for women, Yeah, we do have a structure in place, and more planning is still going into it to make sure that we are ready. Firstly, we have to see who qualifies in CONCACAF and in Europe also. Their qualifiers are happening in April and in May. Then the draw, because then it's easier to see which opponents you can play against, because the biggest thing is that we need to play as many international friendlies as possible. Travel, go to Europe, go to America, South, anyway, where we can expose our team to that level of intensity, because it's not going to be a child's play in Uruguay. Those are teams that year in, year out, they qualify for the tournament, and they're not just qualifying, but they play quality football. They have better structures in their countries, and it will be very important for us to make sure we prepare as much as we can, the level of mentality, the heart, for them to see that the intensity has been put a bit more higher. Because it's not the same as our qualifiers where we were in Africa, we played Botswana and Morocco and it ended there. No, now we're going to come against countries that have better structures. We're going to come against countries that have been to the World Cups before, they've prepared longer, they have better exposure, they have better leagues happening in their country, and it is for us not to bridge that gap but to better to better ourselves and be able to prepare the girls as much as we can, physically, mentally, in terms of football, the intensity, fitness, and all of that, make them stronger, but most importantly, not taking away the skills and the ingredients that the South African flair has. Capitalize on that, be able to analyze what is the game like overseas, what is the game and the standard, what it is like in previous World Cups, because the trends don't differ too much, so we'll see the under-20 will be playing now in August in France, the World Cup women, and you will see already trends there, because there's always the transition between under-17 and under-20. So it is important for us to be able to make sure that even when the girls are not in camp, they are training regularly. We get feedback from the clubs to make sure that they are consistently training, so that when they come into camps, we are not starting from zero. And also it is also important for me and the team to go back into the country and find more players to balance the squad that we have, to put more quality into it, to put more numbers, and make sure that we are stable. When we go to the tournament, we don't just have 11 that is good or 15 that is good, but the whole squad that we will take to Uruguay and prepare for the tournament is a team that will be able to compete. Coming off the bench, coming on, they are players that will understand the philosophy, will understand the style of play, will understand, well, we are not starting from scratch, because we've played qualifiers and we've identified who we are, and we'd like to improve on so many aspects and like to capitalize on what we have already, and get better and better. The game is growing, and one of the biggest things that we have improved on is match analysis with the players, individual analysis, group analysis, team analysis, and them being able to identify and see, my game is growing or not. How can I improve? Because these days the modern football does not allow us so much as coaches to say, you are not doing this right, you're not doing that, but to show them and how do we improve. So there's a lot that needs to go into it, and even more resources that must be plowed back into these players individually, and also the ones that might pop up and come up also, because we want to say it doesn't start here, it doesn't end here. In 2010 we qualified for Trinidad and Tobago, and we didn't do well, but we went there, and not that we went with a bad team. Maybe we did not prepare enough. Maybe we were shocked to get to the World Cup, because that can happen. You can prepare as much as you can, but if the girls get there and they get stage frights, there's nothing you can do but to try and help them to come out of that and realize they're also better, they're also good, and they can compete at that level. I think the first thing I would say to that young person, even older person, we draw inspiration from different people, different ages. Firstly, understand that you are uniquely designed and made, and you are special. Once you understand that, you will know that nothing is impossible for you. In fact, I'm possible, So dreaming is the biggest part of it as well. Your dream will not be validated by anyone, but only you know how and where and what you want to do, what you want to achieve. There's always an opportunity in asking around about, what do I need to do to accomplish this and that. Don't be afraid and shy to ask about your future, because it's you that knows how much you want it, and how much you want it will push you to get to that space. You will fail, you will fall hard, but it's how harder do you bounce back. And bouncing back is what defines you. It's not how many times you fall, but that one time that you get up and say, I'm standing again and I'm going ahead again. Also, don't put your dreams based on what people think. With friends, we can dream and think we want to do things a certain way, we want to achieve this and that, but always remember, you're on your own. Who you are is what you want to become. So it's important for you to always work on your craft, and it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not going to be easy, but it's worth it in a long shot, and always challenge yourself to be better. Don't always settle for your comfort zone to say, I've reached this stage, I'm happy with it. It can never be enough. So always push boundaries, always push yourself to be better and better. Associate yourself with people that want to see you succeed. Yes, you'll find weeds in people, but those weeds are the ones that will make you to kneel down, go back, root them out, because you understand and can identify what is wrong and what is right. Because if you don't, you won't be able to go back to the drawing board and say, I need to change this, I need to be better at this, because then you are like dead fish. You are just going with the flow in a stream. But if you have your own vision board put there, you are able to go back and say, "Aye man, let me go back and refix," And no dream is small. No dream is small. All of them are important. So no matter what another person may think that your dream does not fit into society, it's them to think, it's my dream to be in charge of. And the last one, never make excuses. I always say a bad training session is the one that you never did. So if you put yourself to do something and you say, I'll do it tomorrow, just know it has failed. But if you do it, you failed, you've tried, you've done something. So always remember that it might not work out now, but it is in the path of getting to the right direction. So never give up on your dreams. Never let anyone put you down about your dreams. Never let anyone dictate and tell you this is how you must do it because it suits them. It's yours. Own up to it and stay on your feet. Be humble. Take as much advice as you can and see whatever that won't work for you, and take what will work for you and run with it. Like I say, always dream, keep dreaming. People can delay you, they can never deny you. So always know that.